Guys, welcome back to the Lifted podcast. I am hella nervous. I don't know why. I want to talk about insecurities in relationships, and that's what this entire solo episode is going to be on. But if I'm being honest, I feel like half of this stuff I haven't even said out loud to myself. So I feel like it might be a little bit difficult to just like get through this episode, but we're going to get through it anyways. We're going to do it together. And I just feel like it's a lot of stuff that you guys can probably relate to. Here's the thing is like I look back at the toxic shit and the insecurities that I had in like a lot of my like past relationships and stuff. And I just feel like it's so like wrong that I stayed and like dealt with that shit because just this stuff I'm going to go through some stories just so that you guys can fucking relate to this because I'm like, "Oh my God, like how did I put up with this shit?" And like no fucking wonder why people are insecure in relationships and people feel the way that they do. Especially with just like having social media. So, oh, this is crazy, you guys. Okay, so the way that I want to go into this is like I feel like there's always that one friend or that one person that's like, or I guess like multiple people have asked this before, but just being like, how do you deal with like, say your girlfriend posting like bikini pics online or like posting, you guys have seen my Instagram, like I just posted like an under boob photo, like my boobs are halfway out, like, it's there. It's obvious. So people ask sometimes like, how does James deal with that? Or like, how does like, your boyfriend do that or whatever? And like, obviously, I feel like I've been posting on social media for a long time and I need someone, and James just fits this role now, is like someone that's going to be okay with that and let me kind of do my thing. Here's another thing about me is I'm super fucking stubborn, like really stubborn. Like you tell me not to do something, I'm probably going to go do it because I'm like, fuck you, like you don't run my life. And that's just how I've grown up. Like I feel like even when I was in high school and shit, I would just do that. Like I remember my mom being like, "You can't wear short shorts and blah blah blah." And I was the sister that did it. I was like, "You cannot tell me what to do and I'm going to do what I want to do." And like that's just essentially how I grew up. And okay, I want to go into just like us having social media. Like we are the first kind of generations to have to deal with like social media and like maybe your boyfriend goes and likes another photo or like you go and like some like naked guy's photo or whatever, and then your partner feels insecure about that because I feel like we've all just been in that situation where like our partner has liked something or like oh my God, I actually have to tell this story. This is like awful. Like I like why did I not just take this as like the biggest red flag? So like one of my exes when I was growing up, he literally liked like multiple photos on this girl's profile and I was like, "Okay, like I kind of just didn't think anything of it." Like at first I was like kind of upset about it, but then I was like, "Bitch, like get over yourself." Like I talked myself out of it, which I shouldn't have. But then months later, I saw like the same girl pop up and I was like, "Okay, this bitch just isn't leaving. Like this is just like making me more insecure." So of course I screenshot and like send it and I'm like, who is this girl? Like just tell me who this girl is. Be honest, like whatever, I don't care. And like obviously if he was gonna say like, oh, I slept with her or whatever, we would have a fucking issue. But that's not what came out of his mouth. Honestly, he kind of just got defensive and was like, why are you being crazy? Why are you screenshotting stuff? Like, why are you stalking my page? Which I was like, I'm not even stalking you. Like, this girl is popping up on my fucking explore page because you're liking her fucking photos. Who's this girl? And so I should have taken that as like the biggest red flag is like, why did you not just tell me who this girl was? Like, first of all, you're accusing me of doing something. If your boyfriend is doing this, you guys, like, I think you need to understand that, like, that's just not really okay. Like, he should be able to, in my opinion, this is all my opinion. I hope you guys know this. But he should be able to actually like sit there and be like, this is like a girl from high school, or this is a girl from here, or like if he gets defensive, you just know he's doing something wrong, you guys. Like, I think we like to make up these stories in our heads as women, and we're just like, oh no, it's our fault now for stalking him, or it's our fault for like her coming up on and like looking into it. Like it's our fault for doing that. But of course your mind is going to go there when you see something like that because you care about this person. You're like, why are you going and liking other people's shit? Like what is not that it's bad to like other people's things. I think there's a time and a place. I'm going to talk about that at the end. So at the end, I really want to just go through like because I feel like I'm in a really healthy relationship now and we can like actually fucking communicate about stuff, which is really nice to have. Like I feel like I can like bring up anything that I need to that I'm just like kind of insecure about or feel like I need to talk about. So having that, I feel like I can give a little bit of advice to you guys. So at the end, I'm going to give advice. Right now, it's fucking story time, and I want to just dump all my trauma. So that's what we're doing. I actually have a list. If you guys aren't watching this, if you're listening, I've got an entire list on my phone of just like kind of different stories and just stuff that I really want to talk about around insecurities and being insecure in a relationship and just like, you know, that kind of thing. So, just because this whole thing happened with like him liking photos and then like me screenshotting it and sending it to him and him like not really having an answer, looking back, first of all, I shouldn't have been so upset at myself. Like, I was really upset because I never really gone through this before. And like to have someone completely lie to you and just like, oh, like this is all your fault and like whatever, and kind of just put the blame on you. I feel like it can cause like a little bit of trauma in the sense of like, now you don't feel comfortable bringing stuff up to this person because you're like, well, now I'm crazy. I'm the crazy one for doing all this stuff. And like, it almost puts you into this toxic cycle of like, you're now not going to trust this person, but also you're not going to feel very comfortable like bringing anything up. Or like, if you have a problem, you're not going to be like, hey, by the way, like, I saw this and like it really upset me, but you're not gonna feel, at least I didn't feel okay enough after this to like bring shit up. Um, you guys, I actually have the most toxic story ever. So, same ex. Basically, um, which is this is what I mean. So you can be like the most not toxic person and like not even insecure. Like you could be the most fucking secure person, but it really matters like who you're with because that person can actually make you a really insecure person. So I'm sure I would have been fine and secure and whatever. But like first of all, liking other people's photos and then all of a sudden being like really defensive about it, obviously I'm going to get fucking insecure. Then, oh my God, Kate, I'm this I'm almost embarrassed to tell this story, but I'm still going to tell it because some of you might be able to relate. So, of course, we were together for a while and like I had his passcode on his phone because I'm a psycho bitch and I didn't trust this guy for like anything. So, like here I am. I thought I was like the healthiest person ever, but like looking back, I'm like, this was so toxic. Why did I do this? So I had his password and I would go on his Instagram every once in a while and just see because, okay, here's not that I just got his Instagram because I was like, oh my God, I need to like find out if this guy's cheating, whatever. I got it because there had been like lies literally since the beginning of the relationship. So obviously, I'm going through this being like, I'm so fucking insecure because all you're doing is lying to me and cheating on me and whatever is what I thought. So I have his passcode. I'm going on his phone. I'm going on his Instagram because this girl, not the same girl, different girl. Oh my God, why was I still in this relationship? I sound like a fucking psycho. But, anyways, so the other girl, this is a completely different girl. Um, he messages her every once in a while, and like to be honest, I didn't really think anything of it. Like I know I said I didn't trust him and stuff, but like I just didn't question it. I was like, whatever, like they're probably friends and no big deal. And not that I went through the messages, but I just noticed that he would look up her name every single day, like multiple times a day. And this is the most toxic thing ever. You guys don't do this to yourself because you'll just like go down a rabbit hole. Honestly, I suggest just not going on your partner's shit and like trying to trust them unless you really, you know, feel the need to. I don't know, but I feel like it's really toxic to do that. And I like multiple times a day, I tested this because I would like, you know how you can exit things on Instagram and like cross out people's names if you needed to? He would like, he would, I think he just didn't know how to clear it. I would clear it and then it would pop up again. And I'm like, okay, like, why do I sound like the most psycho person? But at the same time, also, why are you with someone when you're constantly having to look up this other girl? Like, you actually have to think about, I know that we can all do, like, I don't know, stuff that we're not happy with and whatever. But if you're genuinely not happy with a girl that you're with and you're having to, like, constantly look up, like, one of your exes or something, I think you should probably rethink your fucking relationship because like you also need to think of the other person. And like here's what happened. So we had made this joint Instagram account and it was like travel whatever it was. And so he looked her up on that account. Yeah, now that I think about this, this is why I went on his fucking phone because I knew because he looked it up on that account and the idiot didn't delete it. And so I looked and I saw this girl and I was like, oh my God, like who the fuck is this girl and why is he looking her up all the time? And then so I brought it up because I was like, we have a joint account. Like, why are you looking up this girl? Yo, this man got so defensive. And like, I can remember back to that day, I was like so nervous to bring this up because the other shit had happened too. So I was like, I already don't feel comfortable bringing stuff up with you, but I have to say this because in my head, I was like, this is the be all end all. Like, if he basically keeps lying about this, like, I just don't even give a fuck anymore. Like, at some point, you lose the energy to, like, you are making me feel so insecure and think about this, like, every single day because you're lying about it. And it's like, anyway, so I ask him, he literally gives me, like, nothing, gets really defensive, starts getting upset, basically gets super fucking mad at me for doing absolutely nothing but asking a fucking question that he clearly cannot answer. So months go by, and then, oh my God, you guys, like months later, this guy pulls up his phone and he's just like, he's going to look up someone else's profile to show me. And this girl shows up once a fucking again. And I am like, okay, I'm trying to forget the situation, but I'm so fucking traumatized at looking at people's phones that literally to this day, like to this day, right now, whatever day it is, what day is it? June 20th. 2020 fucking 4. I still cannot look at people's phones without this like I just feel like I avoid the eye contact. I'm like, someone pulls out their phone, I'm like, oop, I'm not gonna look because ignorance is fucking bliss. I'd rather not even know because I'm gonna get upset if I see something that I don't like. So this comes up again. And at this point, I remember I'm at my friend's house and like we go outside, we're a little bit drunk. I'm like bawling. I am literally like, this relationship is completely over because I feel so insecure. And I don't even know this bitch. I don't know who this is. I have no idea who she is. I don't know what's happening. For all I know, this like I'm just like I don't even want to look at anyone's phone at this point. So I'm bawling to my friend and she's like, I don't think you should be in the relationship and all this stuff. And that was basically the end of our relationship. But at the same time, like I was actually amazed that like someone can be in a relationship. I mean, this happens all the fucking time. Guys go in these relationships and they're still thinking about their ex or they're still thinking about someone else. And like, I remember Googling, like, if my boyfriend's looking up his ex, every single day. What does this mean? And like, like, honestly, who even looks that up? But I was just like, this is like a problem. Like, obviously, he's not over this girl. Why am I actually in this relationship? Like, it was like the most toxic, insecure person that I think I've been in a relationship, which is just not fucking cool. But that just goes to show you that being in like a relationship can actually, and like being around someone or being around a certain person can actually just make you a little bit more toxic. Like, if you could actually sit there and like learn to communicate with your partner, or, go about it in like a little bit of a healthier way, it just wouldn't be, you wouldn't be toxic. Like, I guarantee you that if I got the right answer the first time that I asked him, and not even the right answer, like, here's the thing is I don't think there's a right answer, but if I got like the truth, or if I got some sort of fucking answer without him pushing the blame on me, I would have been like, okay, now I'm not going to be like a psycho bitch and go on his phone, because I have no reason to not trust him, you know? Um, but as soon as they give you that fucking reason, I think, not that I think it's completely over, but I think if you guys can't learn to like communicate through that, sorry girl, but it's fucking over. Because this guy's just gonna lie about a billion other things and make you super insecure. And like, being that insecure, like, I remember looking back at just like that whole fucking time for me, and like, I swear I thought about this like daily, because you're like, this person that I'm actually like supposed to be with does not give a fuck about me and is like constantly thinking about this other girl. Like, of course you're gonna feel insecure. Of course you're gonna feel fucking jealous, because it feels like even when you bring it up with that person, they aren't like reciprocating. They're not able to like communicate and talk about it and be like, oh, that makes you fucking insecure. I won't do that. Instead, they're like, why are you insecure? Like, why are you like this? And you're like, oh my God, like, I'm actually trying to get over it. I'm trying to move past the trauma. And I feel like, you guys, right now, I feel like this whole microdosing journey, if you guys don't know, I'm microdosing right now. And I feel like it's like helping me heal this trauma. Maybe that's why we're doing this episode. We're just healing together. Let me just read my like whole thing of notes. So, yeah, if someone's toxic and they're making you feel toxic, well, not even that they have to be toxic, but you're probably getting toxic just from, how many times can I say toxic? Oh my God. But if you are like getting to that toxic, like psycho point, a lot of times it's just not even you. Like, a lot of times it can actually be like the other person's reactions, or like there's a certain time and place when you're like, okay, I need to leave. Like, I actually need to leave this relationship. This is no longer serving me. And I think it's up to you to kind of decide that. I am not fucking trying to do a breakup episode right now. We're not all breaking up, okay? Just be, try to be a little bit healthier about this stuff, because here's the thing with social media being like just such a new thing. Like, social media just came about in like the last couple years. So we're still trying to navigate like how we feel about like our partner liking stuff, or how we feel about our partner looking up their fucking ex every day, or like our partner like even following an ex. Like, some people are really okay with that and some people are really fucking not. And it's like, I think it's so up to the person and up to the relationship to actually be able to like have a conversation and be like, okay, I I don't know, I feel like some girls are really okay with like guys following their exes, or some guys are okay with girls following their exes. And I think it can be fine. It's literally about like having a conversation and being like, I don't feel comfortable with you like following her, or I don't feel comfortable with you, maybe liking her stuff. And I've had some girls like, okay, here's the thing about girls. So we like to talk to our friends about everything. We're literally like, I will talk to my friends about my breakups. I will talk to my friends about like how shitty my boyfriend's being. I will talk to my friends about, I'm just giving examples here, like how shitty like work is. I will talk to my friends about everything. I will talk to my friends about like having a fight with my mom and like whatever. Like girls will talk to their friends about everything, but then girls will go to their friends and be like, "Oh my God, like I just saw my boyfriend do something fucking crazy." Like, I don't know. He freaked out at me for liking some guy's photo, or not even liking some guy's photo. He freaked out at me for like whatever reason, okay? And the girls, like, here's the thing. I feel like me as a girlfriend, I'm always like, did you talk to him about that? Like, did you say anything? Like, did you say that that made you uncomfortable? Or did you say that, like, that made you feel a certain way? And most of the time, the girls are like, well, I was gonna, but then he might react this way. And, like, we kind of have to express ourselves with everything. So, as much as it's fucking hard, like, I feel like if I say James and I are like in something or like something happens, say I saw him, I don't know, like some girl's photo and I wasn't okay with it and I didn't feel good about it. Not that this has ever really happened, but I'm giving examples. Maybe it did happen. Who the fuck knows? Whatever. So I like struggle to say how I feel. And I'm not sure where that comes from. I've never really seen a therapist, if I'm being honest with you guys. I did. She was kind of not that great. So that's my therapy for you guys. So I guess you guys are kind of my therapy. So hi. Welcome to my therapy session. Um oh, I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, basically like if you like for me, I struggle to say that and I'm going to say that that comes from like my past traumas. So like I struggle to bring things up in my relationships now because I feel like when I used to bring things up, it would always just end in a fight or like end in someone getting really defensive when really all people want is probably just the truth and like honesty and like at least if you're giving people honesty and like yeah that's my ex and like I liked her photo, like where are we going to go from here? At least you can kind of solve the problem from there. From okay, well, maybe I don't feel comfortable with you doing that, or you know, ask your fucking partner if they feel comfortable because we are navigating such a different fucking time. Like think about it, our parents when they dated, it was like you'd have to fucking call someone to like we have access to so many other things and so many other people and naked girls online and people in bikinis and influencers and you know and sometimes that makes other girls insecure or it may make like there's dudes shirtless all over Instagram, maybe that makes your boyfriend insecure. Like I guess we don't really know, and I think the only thing that's going to solve all of that and like any sort of problems that we have around that and any sort of like toxicity, because let's be fucking honest, like we can all be toxic in our life. I feel like people bring it out of us or something happens or we don't trust someone or whatever. Um let's be real, like girls are crazy. We're all psycho. So we will go on someone's phone if we need to. I was listening to this other podcast and she was just talking about how people um like she will go on, okay, so she had a guest on and her guest would go on her boyfriend's phone or something because she's like obviously like I don't trust him all of a sudden, and she's like as soon as I see something that's a red flag or that doesn't work, I'm literally out of the relationship. And I think we should all fucking live by that. Like honestly, if you're okay, here's a scenario. So you, I don't know, see something on Instagram, you're not comfortable with it, maybe your boyfriend liked it or something, you bring it up to him, and if he reacts in like freaking out or getting defensive or starting to blame you, dude, that is your first fucking red flag. And it's like, you only really need one. I mean, if he's gonna do that and like, give him some time. Don't just be like, okay, we're fucking over. I'm leaving the house. If you want to do that, go ahead. But I would give him a minute to like, because sometimes you can like shock someone if you ask them something and they're like, oh my God, like, oh fuck, how do I answer this? So give him a minute. Give him a couple minutes to just like figure his shit out. And if you ask him again and he's still getting defensive and like, why are you asking me? And like all this stuff, why are you hounding me? Like all this stuff. It's probably time you guys have a fucking sit down or like, I think you need to realize your worth because if your partner doesn't really respect you expressing the way that you feel, that's a fucking problem because you're going to now feel like not that you're not going to feel important, maybe not important. I would probably feel not important. I'd be like, I just expressed my fucking feelings to you. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Now looking back at what I went through, I would not put up with that shit. Like, honestly, if something came up and they got defensive, I would be like, okay, like what's happening here? Like, why am I still dealing with this? Like, there's no point in me pushing it under the rug. What am I going to forget about it? Probably not. I'm probably not going to sleep for like days because why would I? I'd be stressed. I'd be like, what the fuck is happening? Um, but it is just really a lot about communication. Like, I feel like if you bring it up to your partner and they're like super understanding and like there's also different situations. So, for instance, just being on social media, I guess being an influencer and stuff, like you can't just James said something this morning. He's like, you can't just go on Instagram and like never like anyone's stuff. Like and just expect them to like all your stuff. Like what's the point? Like social media is to be social. I think it's just a matter of like expressing to our partners and being like, I'm not happy with you liking this person's stuff or maybe you're not happy with them fucking messaging their ex every day. Like and guess what? You're allowed to fucking say that shit. Because just because we live in a different era, that would be like my dad or someone in that generation calling their ex every single day. I'm sure my mom would have been like, bye. Why the fuck am I with you if you're calling your ex every day? That's fucking weird. It's the same shit, you guys. Like, if you're not comfortable with that, you're allowed to express that. You're allowed to be like, I don't want you fucking messaging your ex every day. That's not cool with me. And, if they do push back, what what are you going to do? Like you also need to feel really comfortable in this relationship and I think that's like almost something that a lot of people are missing is they will just like cower down to their partners. And I've been that person and it fucking sucks because then you're like now I don't feel comfortable talking to you. I literally don't even feel like secure enough to like be my own fucking person because I just feel awful about myself. And I should have fucking left the relationship, you know? Like, I think that's what you need to think about is like, how long are you okay with that happening? Like, it's also a matter of seeing how much you can handle. Like, if you feel like that's really disrespectful, if you're kind of like, I don't give a fuck, you can message your ex like as much as you can, which, like, I don't know what situation that would be okay. But if you're in that situation, good for you because you're obviously a really secure person. I would not be okay with that. But if that's your vibe, that's your fucking vibe. Like it's so dependent on the relationship, but I do feel like we all have a lot of like these insecurities. Not that we have them, but they can definitely come up from like social media. And I think it's like almost an experiment to be dealing with. Like, if you think about it, we're in this time where, like, it was never really like this. It was never, um, we never had access to all of the stuff that we have now. And I just think that if you're like one of those girls that is in that situation, and if I look back to myself in that situation, um, if I could give advice, let's go there. If I could give advice to any girls that are just dealing with those sorts of insecurities, because I feel like I just want you guys to know that that kind of stuff happened for an entire relationship that was like 5 years for me, which is like I was insecure like almost every day. And like to get out of that, like when I came out of that, I felt so good because I was like, I'm finally feel like I'm not comparing myself to people. I'm not competing with anyone because you shouldn't have to fucking feel that in your relationship. But at the same time, you're in complete control of that. Like I could have left at any point and I didn't. I could have literally brought it up every single day until I got an answer. I didn't do that. Like, there's so many things that I could have done in that situation just to like get out of that insecure space that I was in and like make it a more secure space, but I didn't do it. So, if I could give advice to anyone that's there, anyone that's kind of maybe you just told your boyfriend that you didn't like the way he's liking all of his ex's fucking photos. Why do I keep going back to that? But it's so funny. So, because dudes fucking do this. You know what? Oh, you know what's funny? So when I was, this is a long time ago, but I literally had, and I'm never gonna name names, but this guy was getting engaged and he was reacting to almost every single one of my stories. I like he was growing up and he grew up where I grew up. If you guys can guess who it is, that's hilarious. But he reacted to almost every one of my stories. And like, you know, those like requests that you're just like, you never answer? It's just like constant reactions. This guy was getting fucking married to this girl and he's reacting to all my stuff. Yo, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? Guys are crazy. Not all of them, some of them, lots of them. So don't give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, if he can't fucking answer your question and you're like, why are you liking all your ex's stuff? This is making me really insecure. And he doesn't give a fuck, leave. Like, fuck him. There's no point in you feeling insecure in your relationship. I don't think we deserve it. I don't think anyone deserves it. Same goes for men. I'm not just talking to women here. I know this is a girls girl podcast, but I think the same goes for men. They are allowed to express how like if they're insecure about like you posting certain photos or you liking certain photos. I think it's up to us to actually listen to our partner and be like, "Holy shit, like obviously that's going to affect them." No shit, because unless it's kind of like supporting other content creators or whatever, if someone brings that up to you, like first of all, it does take a lot to bring up. And that's what I was saying is like, for me to even say anything, I feel like it takes so much effort. Like, I would rather bottle it up. Like, I would rather just not say anything. But my emotions, like, you guys, I cannot hide my emotions. Like, I can't. For the life of me, I literally try so hard. Like, honestly, I'm the worst. I like will get silent. Like I won't say anything. I'll like avoid I will just give one word answers. What else do I do? Yeah, I'm the worst. I'm the worst. But I would rather bottle it up than bring it up. But like I'm starting to learn that talking about shit and like talking about shit that you're insecure about or talking about stuff that you're not comfortable talking about can be a really good thing. It's just really fucking scary and really fucking hard. But I'm starting to learn that. So, anyways, back to my advice for my LL girls. I would say, first of all, if you if you've been dealing with this for a while and the man keeps getting upset, fucking leave. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry to be blunt, But I wish I would have left that situation. Like, I 100% wish that when I was in that situation, I would have just been like, I'm worth so much more than this. And like, this is not even worth it, you know? Didn't do that. Wish I did. But if you've also been dealing with it for a while and like, say you really love this person, like you are like, I really want to do this. You know, I really want to buy a house with this person and live happily ever after and, you know, whatever. And you really want to make it work, have a conversation about where you're at. Like, don't go into it attacking them like you're liking your ex's photos and you're doing this and you're doing that and whatever. Go into it almost like, I feel super insecure when you're liking whatever, or I feel super insecure when you're doing this, or I don't feel okay when you're doing this, or like make it about you, you know? That's my best advice is like, even when I would go into those situations, I would try to make it about me so that it's not so like about them. People don't like it when you attack them, you know? You have to come into it being like, and it is being genuine. You are telling them how you're feeling, and you're telling them like that it obviously just doesn't make you feel good and you feel insecure about it. And I think it's up to them to be like, okay, I can, you know, stop doing that. Or just explain the fucking situation. Be like, I'm liking her photos, or I'm doing this, or I'm messaging her because it gets the engagement up on my account. It does this, or it does that. I don't care if the explanation makes sense to you in your relationship. Perfect. But if it doesn't, like, I would seriously consider like what you're kind of putting yourself through in this. Because I think that being insecure can just be a really hard thing to deal with. And to be honest, your partner should just not make you feel like that. Um, but that's my advice. Honestly, either leave him or have the fucking conversation. The conversation can fix a lot of things. Um, if everyone reacts in a calmly manner, maybe smoke a joint before you do it. Maybe like set the mood, you know? Turn the lights down a little bit. Make it not so like, hey bitch, I want to have a conversation. Make it more like, let's like, you know, go for dinner, have some wine. I don't know what the fuck you guys do with your partners. Whatever you do that's kind of relaxing. Maybe you guys sit in a bathtub together. I don't fucking know. I don't care. Go do that thing. Do something that's like, okay, let's just relax together. Let's chill. Now I have something to talk about that's kind of important. Now that we're all kind of chill vibes, you know, now that you're not going to freak out at me. And if he's high as fuck and he's freaking out at you, the man has a problem, okay? Like, he has a problem. So you need to just exit the situation. Pack your bags, exit the situation, go live the single life, enjoy your life. That's it, okay? That's all you have to do. Because it's up to us in the social media space and the social media time, and just in this time in general, I feel like people are really lonely and like we spend a lot of time with our partners a lot of times. I spend a lot of time with my partner. If I didn't feel secure, I'd be out the door in like 2 seconds because I've dealt with that before. I can't deal with that again. Like, honestly, it's draining. It's not fun. You're constantly comparing yourself. You literally never feel good enough with what you do. And it's just not a good time. Like, you can find someone that will actually fucking support you and like push you to do whatever the fuck you want to do. um, yeah, that's my advice. That, honestly, you guys, that was actually not as scary as I thought it was going to be. I told my stories. We got through it together. Um, Shout out to you guys for watching the podcast, listening to the podcast, whatever you're doing. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know if you guys want more solo episodes because I feel like I just had a therapy session. Bye.